Oh, hello. Okay, it works now. Hello. Hi, 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 hi. Happy New Year. I have like fire sounds in the back. There was a loud pop there. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hello. Hi, 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 hi. Hi. I've been like dealing with some really bad allergies, so I was trying to wait until those cleared up, but they're not going away, so we're just gonna deal with the phlegm. But hi, everybody. How are you? Everything's broken. Everything's on fire. It's awful. Sorry. I can't believe I forgot Mix It Up Bot. That's like the one thing I'm supposed to pull up. Anyway, hello. Are you guys excited? I am so hyped. I did like some skimming of the first chapter and the prologue, so that I kind of had an idea of like what words to expect. I apologize in advance. Thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it. Also, thank you, Hazy, for the sub and Ben for the sub. Yatane. 32 months. Jeez Louise. That's so long. Hold on. I don't feel like I'm centered. Hold on. Let me just scooch on over. Oh, hello. Shh, you saw nothing. Hello. Thank you, DK.
Thanks to @hazy_sheep for my sub gift.
Yatane. I didn't realize that I still had the text to speak on. Whoops. Oh well. I muted everything else. Anyway, so today we're gonna be reading Malora, Forged by Fate. Which is a really cute book so far. Just what I've been reading, and what's super special about it is that the author is like so amazing and loves his characters so much. So like Malora and all of the supporting cast in the book, like he makes videos about them and like where they would prefer to eat food, where they might shop, and I just think it's so cute when somebody like loves their characters so much that, you know, they think about them that much. It's adorable. So Malora is basically an ordinary person struggling with social anxiety. Also, what is a golden kappa train? What is this? What is that? Is that just like a what is it called? Hype train? Is that what they call a hype train now? What is a golden kappa train? What is that? The art is awesome. That's another thing. Koby actually did all of the art himself. Koby did all of the art himself, and he's going to be working on actually an official, like, drama. I can't English. This is going to be great. It's like a dramatization audiobook. He's going to be working on that, and production should be starting for that, I think, soon, he was saying. There was some, like, wow. Am I okay? Guys, I'm sorry. My brain is not working. I'm really nervous. Listen, I'm dyslexic. You guys all know this. Like, reading out loud is scary. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry if I trip over my words. And also, ayatane. Why is it making noise? I muted it. Thank you, Ben, for the 5 gifted sub. But why the fuck is it making noise? It's supposed to be silent. I tested it. Whatever. I don't care. I'll fix it next time. But also, oh yeah, this one I do need to apologize for. I am sorry in advance for any like really offensively terrible accents that I may do. You know, because we gotta somehow differentiate between the people. Don't accidentally bite my tongue while reading. Why would you put that into my mind? Now it's gonna happen, Ben. It's gonna happen. Was that my throne or Ben's sub? There was a throne. Wait, throne is not in here. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, God, I'm not prepared. I definitely made sure that throne wouldn't pop up because we did not need jump scares. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate it. This is an amazing stream already. Listen, if there's one thing that you can expect, it's scuff, okay? It's scuff. because I've done it before. Oh no. Oh no. Well, yeah, potentially probably offensive. What is, listen, I just need to read. I can't speak anymore. Golden Train is a hype train that rewards participants with a special golden version of the emote for a day. Oh, wait, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that was a thing. Listen, I don't know anything about hype trains. I'm the worst streamer ever. Oh, thanks for the hip pat. Thank you. I am like, when I say like I'm the worst streamer at monetizing anything, that's me. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm okay with that. I'm just here to have a good time and hang out with my spirits. Yeah. I'm excited. Okay, so we're gonna be reading Malora Forged by Fate. As I mentioned, the author is amazing. His love for his characters is amazing. Koby is so kind and allowed me to read this book to you. And all of the art, all of the character art and everything is done by him. You have to go do stuff. Okay, have a good one, Juggernaut. Another thing to note is that while I'm reading, because I'm looking at text and my entire concentration is going to be on not tripping over my words. So I will not see chat that much. But whenever I get to like a stopping point or like the end of the chapter, yes, fluff the pillow, fluff it. Whenever I get to a stopping point, then we'll talk about it and debrief. But I think today, because the chapters are quite long, we're going to read the prologue and chapter 1 for today. Yeah, hopefully, sorry about my alerts. I did try to mute them. Oh, back in the day, a random user would be given said golden emote for the day, and there was no way to know until it was used. Oh, so it was like only one person that got it, but now if it's the golden Kappa train, does everyone get it? Proceeds to gauge the vibe while walking in the snow. It's actually going to be a really comfy book, I think, from what I'm reading. The main character, she's normal. She's a normal girl. Well, she's not completely normal. She has horns. But she's normal. She's struggling with anxiety. Same girl. And we're kind of following her journey to go to school. Yeah, you can see she has little horns. Isn't she pretty? She looks so melancholy on the cover. I can't wait to know who the person with the green eyes is going to be. We're going to have to find out together. I scared you there when I said she's normal. Listen, she's normal in the sense that she deals with anxiety every day, which I feel is quite normal. A normal girl who has horns. Listen, you're talking to a fucking fox, dude. What do you mean? I think horns are quite normal. You don't think they're normal? Are my ears not normal? I'm gonna have a complex. Guys. You can't do that. Anyway, so probably, yeah, I should start. I'm scared, guys. What if I mess it up? No, it's fine. It's fine. You guys can just laugh at me. Okay. Da-da-da-da. I'm embarrassed. I enjoy the fire noise. Prologue. Today is the day. Oh, hello? Okay, let me find a place to put the book so I can actually read it without falling over. Okay. Today is the day, Malora thought as she stared out her window. The sun slowly rose over the small village of Humlock, bringing with it the dawn of a new day. Warm sunlight drove away the morning fog, replacing the cool, damp air of night. Malora was watching her nearest neighbor feed his chickens when the doves began to sing their morning choirs. Their song intertwined with gobbles and clucks, creating the calmest of alarms. She exhaled sharply and fell back onto her bed, her amber gaze tracing the ceiling. In her hand was a neatly folded, slightly crinkled paper. She opened it and held it up, reading the words once again. It is with great honor and privilege that we inform you, Malora, of your acceptance into Vargrath Academy. Her eyes lingered on the words, her stomach nodding at the sight. A deep sigh escaped her as she brought the paper to her chest. She looked around her room, bare walls and empty shelves, nothing to signify that it was her room at all. Footsteps echoed from the other side of the door. She quickly swung her feet off the bed, and just as the first knock came, she opened it. "Malora, I was just about to wake you," her father said. He was a large and burly man, with a handlebar mustache hiding his mouth. "Are you ready?" Malora nodded, her lips pressed into a thin line. "All right then, get changed." "Ferrith!" her mother called from the other room. "I'm coming!" Her father turned around, his pointed tail brushing past her face as he walked away. Malora closed the door and looked at an assortment of boxes nestled in the corner of the room. Opening one up, she pulled out cloths and a brush. Clothes and a brush, not cloth, whoops. Quickly, she changed out of her pajamas and into a new clothes. Grabbing the brush, she combed over her raven blue hair, her hands expertly maneuvering around her bright cream-colored horns. Why can't I spend all morning doing this instead of just laying down? Oh, wait. Nope, that was wrong. Pshaw. Why hadn't I spent all morning doing this instead of just lying down? She asked herself bitterly. With her hair untangled, she placed her pajamas and brush back into the box before picking it up and leaving her room. Her footsteps echoed through the hallways of the house. Much like her room, the home was barren. Only furniture too big to move filled the space. When she stepped out of the house, the fresh morning air enveloped her, her tail curling from the gentle breeze. She approached her father, who was loading a large covered wagon. "Where do I put this?" Malora asked. "I'll find somewhere to put it." Her father took the box from her arms and placed it within the cart. "Do you want me to get the rest of my things?" He nodded, and Malora returned to her room. Several trips later, she and her family emptied it. She lingered in the space for a moment, taking in the atmosphere. Her lips flickered into a smile. But only for a second. She turned around and closed the door to her room for the last time. She boarded the cart and waited for her family to get moving. The sun was rising higher, and with it the heat grew more intense. Her mother joined in the wagon, along with a pale-skinned baby that she held against her bosom. "Good morning, Malora," her mother smiled. She had matching raven blue hair, though hers was far longer. When she turned, her horns caught the light, shining directly into Malora's eyes. Say good morning to your sister," her mother said, looking at the baby boy. A slight smile played across Malora's lips. "Good morning, Deegan." "So, are you excited?" Malora shrugged. "I guess so." "Eris, did you leave anything in the room?" her father interrupted. "The room's empty," Eris replied. "Okay," Ferrith sighed as he looked back at the house. "Then I guess that's everything." He circled the cart and sat down in the front. Taking the reins, he flicked them. The wheels rolled forward. A new city, a new home. Eris looked at her daughter, their amber eyes meeting. "New school? You're gonna tell me that doesn't excite you?" "I don't know," Malora averted her gaze. "You'll be excited to get off this cart, I can tell you that much," her father chuckled from the front. How long are we going to be traveling again? Malora asked. Your father said it's a 2-week trip. On horseback, her father added. We have a cart full this time around, so don't be surprised if it takes longer. Please don't take longer, Eris groaned. I'll try my best, but I can't make any promises. Malora looked out from the large opening at the back. She watched as the house she had lived in for the past 15 years grew smaller and smaller. She tried her best to remember its details. The outdoor forge her father worked in, the wilted flower bed her mother grew for potion ingredients. Even the slightly angled front door she always struggled to open. She watched it shrink? She watched it shrink until there was nothing left to see. With a heavy breath, she leaned her back against the wall of the cart. This is for the best, she told herself. Even so, she didn't fully believe it. End of prologue. Ooh! Nice. So we start off with Malora getting ready to leave and kind of packing up her stuff. Hi, Koby. Hello. That's exciting. Okay, so she's on her way. They packed up, but we've got her father, we've got her mother. She's got a baby brother, it sounds like, named Deegan. And Malora got accepted into a special academy. And her mother brews potions. Wow! That's exciting. Okay. 2 weeks is a long trip. It is. But you have to remember, they're going on, like, carriage. There's no vehicles. There's no cars. And I guess maybe no teleportation? I don't know if there's a magic system in this book. I'm excited to find out, actually. But I do know, right now, they're hoofing it. Blah. Need a snacking emote? I should get one. You're so right. Are you guys excited? Are you ready for chapter 1? Chapter 1 is quite a bit longer. Chapter 1. A pleasant delay. Wait, didn't they want to get there within 2 weeks? Oh no, there's going to be a delay. A pleasant delay, at least, though. Ferrith wiped the sweat from his brow as he steered the cart along an uneven path. Eris sat beside him, fanning air into her baby's flushed cheeks. They were both drenched in sweat. The sun and lack of wind ensured that. Malora took refuge in the back of the cart, hoping to shield herself from the sun's piercing rays. Though she lay hidden, untouched by direct sunlight, her clothes clung to her skin, damp with sweat of her own. Without warning, the cart's wooden wheels rolled over a large rock, rattling everyone aboard. Melora's body lifted off the surface of the cart just for a moment before she collided with the hard planks beneath her. Maybe I should just walk, Malora thought. Turning to look out the large opening at the back of the cart, she extended her hand out, letting the sun graze her skin with its warmth. She frowned before retracting her hand. Though her body ached with each bump, she sighed, choosing the uncomfortable rattling cart over the sun-scorching light. Just try not to think about it, she told herself. As if fate was listening, the cart jolted over another large rock. This time, Malora rose higher and fell harder. She hit the back of her head against the walls of the cart, making her wince. Just then, a baby's cries echoed from the front of the cart. Could you avoid the rocks, please? Eris said, clutching her baby against her, gently rocking him. Believe me, I'm doing what I can. Ferrith looked at his son, focusing on his red cheeks. Is he all right? I'm sure he's just as uncomfortable as we are. Eris wiped the sweat from her son's forehead. Take him inside. So that he could shake more? It's better than letting him roast. Eris thought for a moment before nodding and carefully moving past the curtains to the back. Crying baby in hand, she moved the blanket she was using as a cushion. Crying baby in hand, she moved the blanket she was using to cushion her seat in the front and placed them in the center of the cart before plopping down across from her daughter. "How is he?" Malora asked, her voice soft. "He should be fine. No worse than us, I'm sure." Eris rocked her son side to side to soothe him. She turned her gaze to Malora. "Why don't you sit up front?" "I'd rather not." "Malora!" Ferrith called. After a moment of hesitation, Malora stifled a groan and moved up to peel back the curtain. "Yes." "Come sit with me." Reluctantly, she left the shade and sat beside her father. The first thing she noticed was the sun was far hotter than she expected. The second was the gentlest of breezes, cooling the sweat on her face. Out in the open, Malora had a full view of her surroundings. It's a much better sight than in the cart, she thought, scanning the horizon. Grassy plains surrounded them, and her amber eyes lingered on the few trees breaking from the smooth contours of the rolling hills. In the far distance, parallel to their destination, stood hazy mountains, shrouded by a dense forest at the base. With her gaze taking in the landscape, she turned to the sky, noting the sun was far lower than she had originally thought. Good. It shouldn't be much longer till the temperature drops. "Do you think we'll reach an inn before night?" Malora asked. "As much as I wish we were, we won't be reaching an inn for at least another day or two." Ferrith looked to the sky, then ahead. "Pretty much as soon as the sun sets, we're gonna have to turn in." "We're stopping tonight?" "We have to." Ferrith nodded toward the animals pulling the cart. "The nightmares are almost at their limit." Malora's attention lingered on the large, dark-hided creatures, their powerful muscles stifling beneath the light. They pulled the cart for days without issue. Oh, my cat's getting sick. 1 second, please. Cat moments. So sorry. She was getting sick. I wanted to make sure she was okay. I know, so no worries. We're actually just starting. We're barely into chapter 1. I had to take a small little walk away because my cat got sick. Okay. You guys ready? So, where we left off, the nightmares, by the way, those are what's pulling. They're the steed, from what it seems like, the steed that's pulling the cart. And they're tired and need to be rested. I'm gonna go back. The nightmares are almost at their limit. Malora's attention lingered on the large, dark-hided creatures, their powerful muscles shifting beneath the light. They pulled the cart for days without issue. A good night's rest is the least we can do for working them so hard. As they continued down the rocky path, luckily avoiding any major rocks or dips, Malora remained silent. Settling into a pattern, she took in the breeze, wiped her sweat, and watched the scenery roll by. Shadows appeared from the trees, growing taller as the sun lowered, and with the exit of intolerable heat came the arrival of the cool evening air. Malora let out a relieved sigh. Malora let a relieved sigh escape her lips. Any longer and I would have roasted myself. She fanned her still warm face, her cheeks rosy. She looked up at the sky, noting the color as it shifted from red near the horizon to purple to indigo above her. Well, isn't that fortunate? Ferrith muttered, breaking the calm silence. Malora looked ahead to find small embers in the distance. Fires lit up in the darkness, revealing dark silhouettes that surrounded them. Wagons? Malora's brow furrowed. The cart rolled onward with nothing but the creak of the wheels. The hooves of the nightmares and Eris's hummed lullaby to fill the empty air. As they grew closer to the caravan, it wasn't long until they were spotted themselves. While men set up fires and prepared their wagons for the night, a lone dwarf approached their arriving family. Ferrith brought the cart to a stop and looked down at the dwarf. Hello, my name is Ferrith. The dwarf looked at him with a raised eyebrow, a pipe poking from his mouth, and curious eyes. My family and I are looking for a place to rest for the night. If it's not too much trouble, we hope to join you? The dwarf pulled the pipe from his mouth, a puff of smoke escaping as he spoke. Well met, Ferrith. Name's Ruick. He stretched his lips into a smile. Rest assured, I hear ya. Y'all are welcome to stay the night. The more the merrier, I always say. He chuckled to himself before pointing Ferrith to an area by the fire. Park your wagon over in the space over there. While Ferrith navigated the dark steeds to the area Ruick had directed to, Malora watched the dwarf as he helped guide the cart into place. He wore fine silks and was adorned with expensive accessories. It would take me months to afford even a single piece of what he's wearing, let alone the whole outfit. Malora looked at her father just as he parked the cart for the night. Having grown accustomed to the rattle beneath her seat, Malora audibly sighed when she was finally able to stand up and stretch. Phantom tremors still echoed through her body, but nothing rid her of them better than solid ground. Y'all get settled down, Ruick told them, blowing smoke as he did. Dinner will be ready in about an hour. You folks are more than welcome to join us. We thank you for the gesture, but we already have our own food, and we wouldn't want to be a bother. Ferrith shook his head gently. Ah, nonsense. Save your rations for another day. We have more than enough food to feed a few extra mouths. Before Ferrith could refuse again, Eris whispered from the other side of the curtain, It's free food. Take him up on the offer. Ferrith sighed, a faint smile appearing from beneath his mustache before he looked back to the dwarf. Well, I suppose if it's not too much to ask. Ruick nodded understandingly. Glad to hear it. I'll be by the fire. You're welcome to join me after you get your wits about you. The dwarf smiled before turning around and walking toward the fire. Finally, hopping off the cart and placing her feet on the soft grass of the plains, Malora looked around the area. Everything looked bigger now that she was at ground level. She turned to the dwarf, catching his standing silhouette for a moment before he sat down with his attention to the fire. Malora had never seen a dwarf before. From atop the wagon, he had appeared short, but seeing his stature when level with him made it real. He stood just over 3 Nyrics, not counting the added height of her horns. Wait, hold on. Sorry. She stood over just 3 Nyrics. Okay, so she is 3 Nyrics tall, not counting the added height of her horns. Yet Ruick only stood as tall as her shoulder. Her eyes lingered on him as he sat on the stumpy log before scanning the rest of the camp. She counted 6 different fires, with more than a handful of travelers at each one, but Ruik was the only one seated at his. Malora dropped her gaze and turned her attention back to her family. Ferrith had stepped off the cart and was tending to the nightmares. He gently caressed one, clicking his tongue as he fed it a crisp red apple. "Malora," her mother called from inside the cart. With light steps across the grass, Malora peered in from the back opening. Eris was playing with her son, softening her tone and simplifying her words to baby talk. "Was that a good nap?" Eris combed her son's hair with her slender fingers. "It sure looked like it." She brought her nose to his belly and took an exaggerated whiff. "Ew, so stinky." Malora watched them and a smile played softly on her lips. "You called?" she said softly, not wanting to interrupt the scene. "Hungry?" Eris met her daughter's amber gaze with her own. Malora shrugged. I could eat." "I'm famished," Eris sighed. "Can you ask our new dwarf friend what we'll be having for dinner?" Malora looked back towards Ruik, his stocky frame like a shadow against the flickering light of the fire. "Malora." She snapped her attention back to her mother. "You'll be okay. We'll be right here if you need us." "What are you going to do?" "I'm going to feed your brother. A full tummy means a peaceful slumber." She looked at her son and softened her voice again. "You're hungry too, aren't you? I know you're hungry." Deegan only laughed, captivated by the sight of his mother making funny faces. Not wanting to leave her family's presence, Malora took a deep breath and approached the dwarf. Ruik listened to the calming crackle of the fire, his pipe in hand. Footsteps quietly echoed in his ears. Turning to the source, a grin adorned his face. "Hello, young one." His voice was deep and raspy. "Come to join me? Or did you just come to appreciate the fire?" Malora bit her cheek, forcing down the lump in her throat. "My mother was curious to know what we'll be having for dinner." He stifled a chuckle. "Some kind of meat, I'm certain. We passed by a few wild turkeys on the way here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they're cooking up." Malora slowly nodded. "Okay, thank you for telling me." She turned to head back. "Hold on, lass." He nudged his head toward an empty log across from him. "Come sit with me." Malora shifted her weight to one foot as she fidgeted with her sleeve. "I ain't gonna harm ya, believe me. If I were to try, your legs will carry you faster than these stumps could ever carry me." He laughed. Ignoring the tightness in her chest, Malora sat down, keeping her attention on the flames rather than on the dwarf. Stealing glances, she noticed the gray in his beard and the multitude of rings on his fingers. Each one looked more expensive than the last. Even his pipe was elegantly decorated. "So, what's your name, daughter of Ferrith?" Ruik took a quick puff from his pipe. Malora lowered her gaze hesitantly before looking at the dwarf. "Malora?" "Ah, that's a beautiful name," he said, his pipe still in his mouth. "There any meaning to it?" "Well," she swallowed hard before taking a deep breath. "My parents named me after Maloras." Ruik watched her with curious eyes. "And who might that be?" "He's a spirit of good fortune in Corosian culture. Malora forced a weak smile before avoiding Okay. He's a spirit of good fortune in Korosian culture. Malora forced a weak smile before averting her gaze back to the fire. Ruik stroked his beard with his free hand. Well, that makes the name all the more beautiful. Malora pressed her lips into a thin line. I guess. Taking a long stick next to him, Ruik poked the coals of the fire, stroking its flame. Its heat surged through the air, brushing against Malora's face. She leaned back reflexively. Her reaction made Ruik chuckle. So, where is it you're from? We're from a village named Humlock. Humlock, eh? Is that the Korosian village? Malora shook her head. Hold on, I don't know how to say this. Lefumite. Lefumite. Ah, a Lefumite village named Humlock. He placed the pipe in his mouth again and huffed a few clouds. Malora from Humlock, I like the sound of that. He pulled a small, worn book from a pouch and began to write in it. What are you writing? Humlock. Laura furrowed her brow. The dwarf put the book away with a contented sigh. Now, if I ever pass through there, I'll think about ya. Lefumite. Ah, Lefumite. Okay. Lefumite. Hi, Zach. Hello. So he's writing, okay. Actually, this is a good stopping point. We can talk kind of about, oh my God. Poor Malora, guys. Can you believe her family made her go talk to this guy all by herself? I'd be throwing up. I would die. Just thinking about it actually makes me sweat. No. Like, imagine you're like sitting there, you don't know anybody, you're in a new place, and you're like, go ask him what we're having for dinner. No! No! I will not be asking anybody what we're having for dinner. I'll starve. Thank you. I will just not eat. If I had that option. I would rather starve, right? I would just not eat. I dig into the rations and be like, you guys go ahead. I'm just gonna go into the rations. I cannot. Oh my God. And you know, Malora, he's like, oh, writing something down. She's like, what are you writing? Like, what are you writing? Why are you writing? After I introduce myself, why are you writing? I wonder what, like, I guess so he's writing why, so he has his book of places that he's going to go, and he wanted to remember Malora, who is named after Maloris. He actually seems quite nice. I don't know, should I be suspicious? I'm always so suspicious of people, like strangers in books. I'm like, oh no, is this not... No, this is a comfy trip, okay? It's a pleasant delay. That's the title of the chapter, a pleasant delay. So this must be a pleasant person. Yeah. I feel suspicion for reals, right? I feel suspicious. I am feeling suspicious. But it said it was a pleasant delay. That was you too when you first read this, right? I feel suspicious. Because why is he writing her name down? Isn't she really young? She's young. She's like 15. And he's like... Who are you? What's your name? Tell me. And then writes it down. I'd be dying. You're still trying to figure out how Rita's lovely voice reading out loud made the cat vomit. Oh, she's just sickly. She's really old. If you just look at her funny, she'll throw up. Poor thing. I love her though. She's very needy, so I try to keep her in the room with me as much as I can, but she has to get... She has to go sometimes, because, yeah. Oh, thank you for the pet. Thank you. Hi, Overhealing. Okay, let's jump back into it. So he wrote her name into a book. Okay. So I'll just go back a little bit. Now, if I ever pass through there, I'll think about ya. Turning her gaze back to the fire, Malora couldn't stop her lips from forming a faint smile. So tell me, what brings you here, Malora from Humlock? Malora remained silent, her eyes flickering to her family's wagon. Ruick laughed, snapping her attention back to him. Where are manners? How can I ask you to spill your beans without spilling mine first? He placed his pipe in his mouth and leaned forward. Name's Ruick. Ruick of... Hold on. Please hold. Daragra... I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Daragraph. Yeah. Can I make up I'm gonna make it up. What do I think of the parents? I think that book.exe has crashed, indeed. I think the parents are... With the minimal interaction, it seems like they're trying to push her out of her comfort zone on purpose, which, if I'm looking at it from Melora's standpoint, would make me very upset. Like, I don't want to. I like my comfort. I don't want to be uncomfortable. But I mean, she's not really fighting back at all. She's just like, okay. She's like, I'm not going to do it until they ask me to. So from the sounds of it, they've realized that, and they're like, oh, we have to ask her. So she didn't want to go sit in the carriage with Ferrith, but Ferrith was like, hey, come up here. And she's like, okay, sure. And then for the fire, like, she's like, oh, go ask him what we're having for dinner. And she's like, I'd rather not. And she's like, go ahead and go. Come on, we'll be right here. And she's like, oh, God, okay, fine. Let me go check it out and see what this is about. So I like them, but I don't know enough about like how it seems they're supporting her, right? Because they're uprooting their whole life to go to this academy for Malora. So I mean, even if they're making her uncomfortable, I still say they're like winning parents, you know? They didn't make her go by herself. They're going with her, so yeah. Okay, how do I say this word? Daragorf. I'm dyslexic and not real words make it harder. What is this? It's just a word. Hold on, I'm gonna type it out. You guys tell me. Saint, what is this word? What is that? Oh wait, I missed a letter. Hold on. That one. Yeah. Daragorf. Okay, hold on. Can I pin this? I'm gonna need this again if this comes back up. I'm just gonna put that up there real quick. What kind of book am I reading? Hi, Omachi. It's a fantasy book, young adult, so it's supposed to be a little easy, hopefully a little easier to read. And it's about Malora. We're just actually getting into it. So it's about Malora, who's on the cover. You can see her right there. And she got accepted into an academy, and they're going to go to the academy right now. Her and her family. That's basically how far we've gone. But she's got social anxiety like me. And she just went and sat next to a stranger and asked him what they're having for dinner. And then he wrote her name in a book. And she was like, what are you doing? And he was like, oh, right. Let me introduce myself instead. So that's where I got stuck. It's Daragorth. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. I didn't know you liked fantasy. I love fantasy. Actually, almost exclusively read fantasy books. I do read some that are not fantasy. However, sometimes I feel like those hit too close to home and I'm like ready to escape. You know, I'm ready to escape out of my life whenever I'm reading. There's 2 R's. You're a huge Brandon Sanderson fan. I love Mistborn. I'm gonna say it. I love Mistborn. I want to reread it soon. I love that series. It's the first book that ever betrayed me in such a horrible way, but I loved it. Love Mistborn. And I want to read more of his books actually, but yeah. Mistborn was like the first one, and I was like hooked. Super hooked. Loved it. Anyway, back to Malora. Okay, let me read this again. Daragorth. Okay. You can't roll your R's. Honestly, I don't. If I think about rolling my R's, I can't either. It just has to happen naturally. I can't. Like, if I think about it, I forget how. I don't know why. Yeah. Okay, let me try again. Daragorth. Okay. Name's Rurik. Rurik of we're just gonna have to struggle past this, I think. Name's Rurik. Rurik of Daragorth. Daragroth? The dwarf smirked. Daragorth. A bit of a tongue twister. I'm sorry. A bit of a tongue twister, that one. It's I'm overwhelmed. Why can't I read? A bit of a tongue twister, that one is. It's a min town at the base of the mountain Irongrass, carved directly into the mountain, you see. There you can't go 10 steps without hearing steel against stone. He raised a single brow while he massaged his scraggly beard. I haven't been there since me 90s? A sigh escaped him. Has it really been that long? Since your 90s? Malora said aloud, both awestruck and curious. How old are you? Dwarves can live anywhere from 300 to 400 years. Me, I'm 241 myself. So I still have a ways to go until my eternal slumber. He proudly pressed his fist against his chest with a thud. I remember, Malora cleared her throat. I remember my father told me that his grandfather had lived until he was 160. Really? Ruik's eyes went wide. That's a mighty long time for a Lithomite. Malora looked back into the deep oranges of the fire. Though I guess it's not so long when compared to dwarves, she added quietly. Dwarves can live quite a while, but if you want to be jealous of anyone, look no further than the elves. Really? He nodded. Yep. Elves, vampires, even dragons. Those beasts can live centuries longer than any dwarf can. He took a puff from his pipe and perked up. Actually, I once met an elf who I fought with. Actually, I once met an elf who I found was over 800. 800. He raised his open hand as if swearing his allegiance. No lie, and you want to know what he told me? Malora nodded softly. He told me to mind my elders. He exploded into a hearty laugh. Malora couldn't stop herself from chuckling along. Taking a moment to catch his breath, Ruik continued his reflective tone. Ruick continued in a reflective tone. Truth is, once you get past your first 100 years or so, age stops mattering so much. The crackle of the fire overtook the silence between them. Even if I had lived as long as my great-grandfather did, Ruick might still be here to see me go. A somber smile formed on her lips. So, Malora's quiet voice cut through the calm atmosphere. What brings you here, Ruick of Daragroth? The dwarf looked from the fire to Malora, a warm glint in his eyes. I am a merchant, you see. I spent most of my life traveling throughout the kingdoms of Lagorium. Spent a few years traveling around other kingdoms as well. He turned towards the road and pointed his arms out on each side. I've gone up and down this stretch of land more times than I can count, from coast to coast, mountain to mountain. And you never feel scared sleeping beside the road like this? Ruick shook his head. Not usually. I have me caravan of merchants to keep me company. He gestured to the people gathered at the other campfires. Safety in numbers, you see. Every one of these wagons belongs to another merchant, and if we're ever traveling in somewhere especially dangerous, we make sure to hire some extra security. We certainly got the money for it, he nodded. Not to mention, spending so many days on the road is quite common for us to pick up a few extra travelers for a night. He looked at Malora straight on. Take this fine evening, for example. Not only did your family join us, but we have a party of adventurers camping with us as well. Really? Malora's eyes widened as she quickly scanned the other fires. They call themselves perfect. He leaned forward, motioning for Malora to do the same. Between us, he whispered, they've got to be the worst party I've ever seen in my whole life. He erupted into a fit of laughter, slapping his knee as he leaned back, snorts escaping his nose as he continued his joyous moment. It was so contagious that Malora covered her mouth with her hand to keep from laughing as loud as him. Regaining his composure, Ruick wiped away wetness from his eyes. Rowdy bunch they are. Where's all this laughter coming from? A mothery voice echoed from behind. Turning to the sound, Malora watched her mother appear from the darkness as she approached the fire. Hello, Ruick nodded at the newcomer. Wife of Ferrith and mother of Malora, I take it. The one and only, Eris replied lightly. It's a pleasure to finally enjoy your company. His lips shifted into a smile. Call me Eris. The pleasure is mine. Eris sat beside her daughter. Where's Deegan? Malora asked quietly. He needed a change. Eris flashed a grin. And it was your father's turn, she whispered. Oh. Malora nodded knowingly, a sincere smile adorning her face. Ruick took his stick and prodded the coals, sparking new embers and re-energizing the fire. They fell into a calm silence with nothing but the crackles of flames and the distant crickets to break it. Well, don't stop on my being here, Eris said. It's been too long since I've heard laughter like that. Ruick was telling me this is his caravan, Malora said proudly. Is that so? Eris turned to the dwarf, her brows raised. It's not as simple as that. Ruick took a match and relit his pipe. It's not me caravan, so to speak. I do lead it, but we're all merchants here, and I do say that we're all equals. Well, regardless, thank you for letting us stay in the comforts of your caravan. Eris smiled gratefully, making Ruick blush at the sight. Ooh, blushy. All right. Excuse me. All right, that should be all clean now. He should be, oh my god. All right, he should be all clean now. A deep voice spoke from behind. Ferrith. Ruick lifted his chin. How good of you to join us. I can't let my wife and daughter have all the laughter now, can I? He sat down on Melora's other side, with a slight groan, sandwiching her between her parents. Hey, Deegan. Malora raised her voice, poking at her baby brother's pale white cheeks. So, what did I miss? Ferrith asked. Nothing that can't be repeated. Ruik paused. He raised his head, sniffing the air. Y'all smell that? Malora promptly sniffed. A thick, savory aroma surrounding them, pressing on her like a tasty blanket. Smells like dinner's ready. The dwarf smiled widely. You folks stay here. I'll fetch us some plates. Ruik rose from his seat and quickly walked to another fire. I'm so excited. Eris looked at her family, her face ecstatic. Tell me about it. I feel like my stomach's eating itself. Eris turned to her daughter. Did you find out what we're eating? While Ruik was gone, Malora quickly brought her parents up to speed on their conversations. Just as she finished, the dwarf appeared with several plates with simmering meat and roasted vegetables. Malora hadn't felt too hungry, but the sight of food made her mouth water. Each bite tasted better than the last, and before she knew it, she ate the entire plate. When their plates were cleaned and their bellies were full, conversations continued. Watching her parents and their new friend chat brought a warmth to her chest that she hadn't felt since leaving Humlock. The fire, the crickets, the laughter all worked together to create a dreamlike atmosphere. One so calm and joyous that Malora worried she might have been dreaming. She held her hand to her nose and closed her nostrils before trying to inhale. What are you doing? Her mother asked. Nothing. Malora quickly lowered her hand and looked into the fire, her face warm. This was no dream. Of that she was certain. Ferrith. Ruik turned to the large burly man with a slight glimmer in his eye. Do you drink? On occasion. Ferrith chuckled as he cradled his sleeping son. Why do you ask? What do you drink? Well, my village only really had ale. I see, the dwarf nodded, understandingly. He reached to his side and plucked a bottle off the floor. Have you ever tried Augean mead? Can't say that I have, Ferrith shook his head subtly. One of the finest drinks that'll ever grace your lips. Ruik beamed as he pulled 2 small cups seemingly out of nowhere and began to pour. Have you ever met an Augean? Ferrith handed his son to his wife before taking the mead. They're the ones with the wings, right? He looked at his cup, studying the golden liquid that swirled inside. I've heard stories of them, but I've never seen one before. Augean women are the closest thing that you'll ever see to a living angel. Absolutely breathtaking they are. Ruik took a small sip of his drink, and his shoulders visibly relaxed. Thanks for that. Thank you. You bit your tongue, Ben? No! I was supposed to bite my tongue. I'm the one reading. How did you manage that? Because you were eating. Shame. Hi, Java. Hello, everybody. What do you guys think so far? So, they're trying a new mead. Eating too fast? Mood. They're trying a new mead. Family joined. I do like the parents. They did put Malora in like a protective position between the two of them when they came and sat down and like joined the conversation. So I do like how they're protecting her, even though they like sent her to the dwarf by herself. I'd be upset. Malora is a much nicer daughter than I think I would be. 'Cause I would be very mad if I was a cat. Then again, they probably know how much Malora can take. So Augean women are the closest thing. Okay, so they're beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ladies. You love the narration? Thank you. I'm so glad. Yay, yatta ne. I'm glad. This is my first time reading out loud, actually. Outside of like gaming and questing and stuff, like I'll read that out loud. But this is my first time trying to like narrate something. And I'm having a lot of fun, actually. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a blast. Okay, back to the Ojian women. They must be very pretty. I want to see an Ojian women. Ojian lady, if you will. Absolutely breathtaking they are. Ruik took a small sip of his drink and his shoulders visibly relaxed. Ferrith looked to his family. A heartfelt smile peeked out from behind his mustache. My wife and daughter are the only angels I need. Oh, that's so cute. My wife and daughter are the only angels I need. The dwarf burst out into laughter. Well said, Ferrith. After catching his breath, he held up his cup to family. Ferrith raised his cup to unexpected friends. Hear, hear. Ruik slipped his mead, and Ferrith followed. So, tell me, how does a small family like yours end up spending a night with a caravan of merchants? Ferrith's gaze shifts from the fire to the dwarf. I'm a blacksmith, and my wife's a potion brewer. That's quite the dynamic duo. What do the young ones call that? He scratched his beard. A power couple. Yes, that's it. He laughed loudly. Ferrith and Eris looked at each other. We made our living selling to a few adventurers that passed through our village. It was steady and kept food on our table. He took another sip of his mead and looked back at the dwarf. But we thought, why not move somewhere with larger demand? So we packed up a wagon. Blah, 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 blah. But we thought, why not move somewhere with a larger demand? So we packed up a full wagon and set out for Garum. Mm-hmm. You don't say. Ruik raised his brows. I was just in Garum. There's no shortage of demand there. He leaned forward. Careful to keep your wits about you. That's a bustling place, and it sure has its charms, but it's not perfect. And no city is without its challenges. Melora's shoulders tensed at the warning. Ruik shifted his gaze to her, his voice soft. I don't mean to scare you, lass. Garum's vast, abundant with opportunities. He raised his glass. Who knows, maybe someday you'll find yourself sharing a cup of mead with an Ojian. A soft smile tugged at her lips. And I reckon that day is sooner than you think. He sipped his mead. Turning his attention back to Ferrith, he continued. So, you plan on opening a store to sell your wares, that right? Ferrith nodded. That's all well and good, but what's young Melora's plan? He nudged his head in her direction. I take it she'll be joining one of them support schools, assuming she's taken after one of ya, that is. Malora lowered her gaze, the weight of everyone's eyes pressing on her. Go on, Malora. Eris placed her hand on her daughter's. Ruik raised an eyebrow. Actually, She took a deep breath with her fingers fidgeting with her sleeve. She took a deep breath while her fingers fidgeted with her sleeves. I got accepted into Vargrath Academy. The silence that followed felt like an eternity. Call me a giant's left toe. Sorry. Call me giant's left toe. Why the left one specifically? Why not the right one? My reading helps you immerse quite a bit. Oh, yay. I'm glad, DK. That's exciting. Oh my God, not the left toe though. Which do you think would be like more shocking, the left or the right? Like, do you think he's mildly shocked or like super shocked? You know? Because there's 2 toes. Actually, 10 toes. It's the big one. Okay, anyway. Call me a giant's left toe. Ruik laughed, wearing a proud smile. How does a young village girl like yourself get into the top school of the kingdom? Melora's heart skipped a beat. Honestly, She interlocked her fingers while her thumb traced her palm. I don't really know, she shrugged. Ruik held his cup in the air. Well, if that's not good fortune, then I don't know what is. He promptly downed the rest of his drink in a single gulp. Melora's just being modest, Eris gently elbowed her daughter. She worked hard to get where she's going. Ferrith nodded. She's a hard worker, always has been. He turned to Ruik. Ever since she was little, I told her it only takes one eye to see hard work. So work as hard as you can and people will see it twice. Wise words. Ruik shifted his gaze to Malora. So, who's it you take after then? The blacksmith or the brewer? Malora looked up from the fire, her amber eyes meeting the dwarf's. Both. A smile played on her lips. Both, you say? Ruik's eyes shot open. Well, if that ain't something. He shook his head slowly. Forget what I said about good fortune. That ain't luck. That's the fruit of your labor. The fruits of your labor. Malora looked away, her cheeks growing warm. I don't know. A part of me still can't believe it. Her smile shifted into a thin line. What if there was a mistake? What if... A place like Vergrath doesn't make mistakes, lass. They want the best, and if you've been accepted, you the best believe it's... Sorry. They want the best, and if you've been accepted, you best believe that you're it. The dwarf pulled a piece of wood from beside him and threw it into the fire. Its flames intensified, creating a gust of heat. But don't think that it's gonna be easy. Learning one trade's hard enough. Learning two. Malora met Ruik's eyes. Let's just say your next 3 years at Vergrath are gonna be some of the hardest years of your life. If you want to believe anything, believe that. Malora looked back into the fire, her gaze focusing on the new piece of wood as its surface blackened into charcoal. As the night continued, Melora's eyes grew heavy, but she fought the urge to sleep. She looked at her brother and watched his drool drip from his mouth onto their mother's blouse. Ferrith looked at his daughter, noticing the darkness appearing around her eyes. It's getting late. I agree. I'm ready to call it a night, Eris yawned. I'm not sleepy yet, Malora said tiredly. It sure looks like it, Ferrith replied. I'm not. Hold on, lass. Let me give you something. Ruik rose to his feet and walked to his wagon. Malora could barely make him out, but she saw him rummaging through his belongings. Please don't give my daughter any mead, Ruik, Ferrith called out. A loud laugh escaped the dwarf. You're a funny one, Ferrith. Even if I did, she ain't old enough to appreciate it. He returned to the fire carrying a small cube-shaped bottle. Here, he tossed it over the fire. Malora reached out and fumbled it before getting a firm grasp on the bottle. She exhaled sharply before taking a closer look. A potion? Malora viewed it from every angle. A thick and creamy light purple liquid swirled within the bottle. A gold cork with a detailed crest kept the bottle sealed. What kind is it? You're the brewer. You tell me. She rubbed the crest, feeling the ridges beneath her fingers. That there is the crest of the family. Oh, wait. I think this is actually Ruick talking. That there is the crest of the family I bought it from, and an elvish lullaby, they call it. Or a lullaby in a bottle if brewed by non-elvish folk. Is that really? Eris looked at the dwarf, her brows furrowed. It is, he nodded. What's it do? Malora looked to her mother. It puts you to sleep, Eris replied. That's it? That's it. Wait. Yeah. Okay. It puts you to sleep, Eris replied. That's it? Your mother's right. If you drink that there potion, Ruick pointed to the bottle, you'll be out faster than a dragon can breathe fire. With a curious look in her eye, Malora uncorked the bottle and brought the concoction to her nose. It smells like cinnamon? She took a deep breath. And honey. I'll tell you this about elves. They know a thing or two about making potions appealing. Ruick chuckled softly. Let me smell it. Eris leaned forward. Malora held the potion up to her mother's nose for a moment. That smells heavenly. You wouldn't happen to have another one of those, would you? I'm afraid that's all I got. Malora looked to her parents hesitantly. So I can... Her parents nodded in unison. With their approval, she looked at the bottle and brought it to her lips. The liquid was soft and its taste sweet. Though it was cold, as it traveled down her throat, warmth radiated through her, wrapping her in a comforting embrace. So? Ferrith studied her cautiously. Malora wiped her lips with the back of her hand. It was good, she nodded to the dwarf. Thank you, Ruick. Do we have to pay you for that? Ferrith asked. Ruick shook his head. It's a gift. They all lingered by the fire, listening to it crackle. They chatted quietly, but much like the flames, the conversation was dimming down. How are you feeling? Eris asked, noticing her daughter's droopy eyelids. I feel... Malora blinked. Good. Tired? Ferrith added. Tired, Ferrith added. Malora slowly shook her head, her movements like molasses. Her parents chuckled to themselves. Malora stretched her arms out and yawned for several seconds. My head feels heavy, she thought, resting her head on her father's shoulders. I don't remember this feeling so comfortable. I'm just gonna close my eyes, just for a second, she slurred. Oh, she was supposed to slur that. Hold on. I'm just gonna close my eyes just for a second. Shoo. She's asleep. She's out cold, guys. I can't believe she drank a potion she wasn't from a stranger. She's braver than me. She's braver than I am. Oh my goodness. So she's resting on her father's shoulders. Aw, that's so cute. A heartfelt smile decorated Ferrith's face. She hasn't done this since she was 8 at least, he whispered. Malora? Eris's voice echoed in Melora's ears, but she wasn't awake to hear it. She was indeed out. Ferrith carried his daughter back to the cart and gently placed her down on some blankets. He watched her chest slowly rise and fall before planting a kiss on her head. Will you be coming to bed with us? Eris asked, entering the wagon. She sat down beside her sleeping daughter, her baby cradled against her bosom. Not yet. I'm gonna have another drink. Ferrith closed the latch to the cart, sealing his wife and children within. I'm not sure I'll fall asleep without it. Eris placed her hand atop his. Her sun-kissed skin contrasted with his porcelain tone. Don't take too long. Ferrith brought her hand to its face and pressed his lips slightly against her fingers. I won't. Eris caressed her husband's cheek before retreating into the cart's shadows. Ferrith lingered for a moment, his hand resting on the latch. The night had grown quiet, nothing but the crackle of the dying fire and the distant howls of an animal accompanied his thoughts. He took a deep breath and rejoined Ruick by the fire. That ends chapter 1. That's amazing. Oh my god. I still can't believe that, I guess surely Eris must have known what that potion was too, right? Because if not, surely she wouldn't have let her daughter, like, drink it, right? Like, how do they know it's not poison? Am I the only one that's like, oh my god, he's gonna poison her? What if she doesn't wake up tomorrow? What if she's just out for a week? She just oh my god, what if that's the story? She just sleeps through the rest of the travel to Vorgath Academy. She's just knocked out for the rest of the trip. Yay, we did it though. Yattane! Did you guys like the first chapter? Her mother is a potion brewer. Right, exactly. So I'm assuming that she had to have known what it was, because she's kind of following in her mother and her father's footsteps. So she's going to be also brewing potions, and also she's going to be doing blacksmithing. So maybe she's going to make some weapons. She's going to make some weapons for people, and she's going to make potions. But from the sounds of it, she's not really a fighter. So she'll be, well, I guess blacksmiths can make a little bit of everything, huh? Like horseshoes. What else can blacksmiths make? Help me out. Tools? Tools? Yeah, tools. So, but I know that from like how I'm gathering, Melora's not really a fighter per se. So maybe she'll be making tools for friends that fight, maybe? And she's like the support cast? Yeah, she's making tools. Yeah, armor too. She could make armor, nails. Yeah. Oh my gosh, she can make so many things. Anyway, and then also potions. But like potions, she doesn't need to fight if she can make potions, because potions, coat hangers, yeah. That's important. You need coat hangers. That's important. But potions, I'm super excited to see like how potion making is going to go in the book. Tools, weapons, utensils, wheels. Wheels aren't... Oh, I guess you could make wheels out of metal. I guess in my mind, I'm picturing the wheels made out of wood. But like there would be metal components, right? Horseshoes, armor, practically anything metal. I know, my brain just like blanked out of anything made out of metal. Yeah. But I'm really excited. And it's going to be like a school environment. So I wonder how that's going to go, especially because she's very nervous around people. So making friends is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see like how Malora grows. But we're going to have more travel, I think. More travel. Yeah. Chapter 2 is titled Firelit Confessions. So I wonder if they're going to be like with the dwarf for longer. So is the dwarf still sketchy? If she wakes up tomorrow, I will give the dwarf a pass. But if she sleeps for a week, no, sketchy, because he didn't warn her. I think the dwarf is quite friendly. I would think that maybe like traveling merchant groups, they're pretty common, maybe. And so it's like normal to group up and like trust other people's food. Like maybe my thoughts on present day, where everybody, like if you find anything on the side of the road, it's probably poisoned. and you don't want to touch it is like clouding my mind, because I'm over here like, no, everybody's suspicious, everybody's out to get you, like, don't trust anyone. Whereas like Malora's like, okay. And their family is like, sure, we're gonna sleep here tonight. Versus like, I'm over here like, who's taking the first watch? Like, my Dungeons and Dragons brain is like, you can't all sleep at the same time. Something's gonna come. Like, who's watching while we take a long rest? Who's keeping watch? That's my mind. But I don't think, like, we haven't heard anything of like any trying times, so it must not be like a wartime currently. No talk of like any risks. So I'm thinking that like they're probably thinking that this trip is going to be very calm, like easy, nothing to worry about, just kind of like a long trek, since it's going to be a couple weeks on the road. And at this point, let me look back. How long have we been on the road? Is this the first day? So like they're stopping on the first day with the caravan. So they're like day one into travel. Like that's their first day. So we've got quite a bit of traveling to go. Having a night watch is standard, if anything travel related, even in modern times, if you're in the wilderness. Right, exactly. So surely like somebody in the caravan's watching. There's probably, like, I think they said they had like a party of adventurers that was hanging out. So I bet you they're gonna be watching over the group, even though the dwarf is like, they're the worst group of adventurers that I have ever seen in my entire life. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely am having a great time with this book so far, though. It's very calm. It's very soothing and relaxing. And I'm excited to see like where it's going to go. Because I'm sure once we get to the school, like she's going to panic. I love Malora already. I relate to her so much. She's like, I don't want to go talk to these people. But also, if something smells good, I will also drink it. I will be poisoned. I would be poisoned. Like she was explaining how the potions smelled like cinnamon and honey. Yes, I'll drink it. And it'll make me go to sleep, say less. I don't. That's amazing. Anyway, this was the first chapter. I'm not going to read any more today because I didn't prepare more. I have to go through and like skim the next chapter so I can like find the speaking parts. So we'll have to do this again very soon. When would you guys want chapter 2? When should we have our reading nights? Because this is an ongoing series. Ongoing. You have to keep reading. I'm gonna definitely finish the book. And I have a couple other books too that we might be able to do. But definitely going to finish this one and one other book, I think, for sure. Let's see. My keyboard's not working. Na 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 na. Not sure. Oh, I shouldn't sing it. I don't want. If people are sleeping, I fell asleep. It's supposed to be a soothing, calm, comfy stream, not a loud gremlin stream. I could read a big book of ABCs and you'd be content. That's really sweet. I don't know if I could make. I don't know if I could make the ABCs interesting. I'm gonna be honest. That might be a challenge. But I'm glad. It seemed like you guys actually really were enjoying this, which is a relief. I was psyching myself out for like hours. Today I was kind of stressed out all day because I'm like, oh my God, what if they think I'm stupid and I can't read out loud? You know, like I always say that I am my own worst enemy, right? I'm like, okay, reading out loud is like one of my biggest fears. Because whenever you have dyslexia, right, it gets worse when you're anxious, or at least I personally like suddenly lose the capacity to be able to see letters if I'm stressed out. Like I can't see anything. And so it was nice. The fire crackling made it nice and cozy, right? I thought so. I thought it would be nice to have a little fire crackle, so that there was like some background noise to give it like that fantasy ambiance, if you will. But yeah, the reading out loud is always really nerve-wracking because if I get like anxious or scared, like I know that I won't be able to see the words anymore because they won't make sense to me. So I had to like meditate today to be able to read. Because I was like, But I had so much fun and I can't wait to do it again. I will post in the Discord sometime. I'm gonna give myself a reminder right now. Reminder for me. Make post to find schedule. Wait, hold on. This doesn't make sense. What am I trying to do? Am I okay? Oh my god. I'm tired, sorry. Reminder for me, make a Discord poll for days. Read a book. That'll make sense to me probably. I'll make a post with a poll to kind of come up with some days that we should do read a book. I definitely want to do like weekends and probably more like my nighttime, probably around this time if this time works, because then, you know, I think it's pretty late for just about all of us where we can, you know, wind down and go to sleep. I'm gonna take a nap. Yeah. Okay, it's time. I think it's time. I didn't think about how to like end my reading stream, I'm gonna be honest. Normally we sing a song, but I think if people fell asleep with my stream on, that'd be pretty awful to just start screaming in their ears. So I think with that, I'm gonna do an awkward transition. You're down for weekends, right? Okay. Weekends sound good. Maybe I could prepare multiple chapters so that we could do like Saturday and Sunday. And then we could do like gaming on the other days or Friday maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll make a post and we can like vote on it and figure out kind of what sounds best. Because I definitely want to make sure that we have like some sort of schedule locked down. That way you guys know when to like look out for more Malora content. Because I am going to read the entire book. The entire book. We finished the prologue in chapter 1 today. The VOD is going to be on Twitch for a time, but I also did stream to YouTube as well. So if you came in late or you want to like see parts that you missed, the VODs will always be on YouTube as well. And I'll probably do like a more professional style recording if I have time as well, to like make a video so that whenever it's all finished, like we'll have the full audiobook or whatever, narration. I think that might be fun. I'm not going to promise that though, because sometimes I bite off more than I can chew. But that's something I really want to do because I want to practice like more voice acting stuff because it's so much fun. All right, everybody, goodbye. I'm going to do an awkward transition now. Goodbye. Good night. Yeah. Awkward transition, go! Goodbye, everybody. Good night. Sleep well, spirits. Thank you for hanging out. Goodbye. Goodbye.